Wow, the first time I cracked a mic, it was like 83. I cracked a mic at a radio station which was owned by the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, WRDW, which the Godfather of Soul gave me the name Minnesota Fattz. A memorable moment when I cracked a mic, and that will be one day that I'll always remember. The high point of my radio career was during the late 80s. There was a student that went to Richmond Academy by the name of Freddie Hudson. He played football, and of course he was a punt receiver. Amongst catching the ball and moving forward up the field, he took an awkward hit. During that time, we were doing a promotion on another radio station that I worked during that time called Hands on the Bull, which was sponsored by Schlitz Malt Liquor. It was a 1988 Trans Am. And I incorporated that with Freddie Hudson's incident that happened on the field, because we gave away the car. It's called Hands on the Bull. So we had contestants that would put their hand on the car, and for every hour that I stayed up, people would donate money. The listeners would come in and donate money. And I was able to raise close to $100,000 to build a handicap accessible wing onto his home. So it was better life for Freddie Hudson, one of the highlights of my career. Unforgettable, unexpected guest, President Obama. Well, you know, my favorite listener interaction was creating characters on the air. Listeners that called into the radio station that maybe had a raspy voice or was just funny. And one was Speedy Reedy. She was a big character on the show during our morning show, and people today still ask me about that character. Oops moments, yes. Cher and I was coming from Los Angeles. We did the Soul Train Music Awards. During that time, after returning back to Augusta, we landed. I stopped by a local convenience store and played the lottery, right? So I played lotto every once in a while. So I played my home address. So the next day when we returned on the air for the morning show, I looked down at the newspaper and I saw that I had won. And I was like, oh shit! And we were on the air, so I had to catch myself. And that was an oops moment. I didn't really think I was going to have a job after then. Well, you know, no one's invincible. You know, radio, the challenge that people don't see, you know, you put the work in, and just realizing that you need to know the science of the business, you know what I mean? And that's so important. And that you're never bigger than the brand. It's something that you learn, know, and it's reality. Segments on the radio that I love doing. Yes, we do a thing called the 5 o'clock happy hour mix. It's interaction with the audience, people calling into the radio station. It goes back to those days when radio was very personal and people can relate. They call up, they're getting off from work, they saying, hi, Fattz and Cher, we out here rolling with you this afternoon. And also Solid Gold Sunday. When you take people back in the time, this is a special feature that we do on the weekends, and I co-host with the Mighty Peanut, and we go back in the day of playing music that people grew up with from the 70s, the 80s, and knowing that those songs had an impact on their lives, their relationship, they made babies. So yeah, those are some special segments and features that I love. Personality that I never hope that goes away is that, because that's so important. In the commitment of doing things in the community, I think it's very, very tradition with radio, and it will always be there, and hope that it will never go away. Wow, there's so many things that happens with radio today than it was back in the day in 2025. AI, digital platforms, there's so many things that you as a talent, you as a programmer, just so important that you know the science, apply, and learn. And that's one of the most innovative things that we can continue to see in 2025 with radio. My favorite thing about being a part of the iHeart family is innovative resources, just so many great things, family, and just being a part of the biggest radio conglomerate in the world. That's what I love about it.